Zidon Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow hosts.
I'm Jack. I'm Joker. I'm Jack.
And
I'm Joker.
Yeah, today we're gonna be talking about the Disney live action movies. What joy! Specifically, we're talking about the remakes.
Some of them have been okay. Some of them have been okay.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty bad. You know,
Yeah,
there's a wide stretch.
Yeah,
there.
like obviously
Very
most
much
people will
so.
think, oh, the live actions, almost all of them are bad, which fair enough, a lot of them are bad. But some of them are actually pretty good. And then there's the ones that like some people like and others just despise.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know
Yeah.
I'm weird with the Beauty and the Beast thing. I don't know why I like it, but I do, and I know that not everyone else does. So, speaking of which, what is
I like Beauty and the Beast. I like Beauty and the Beast. Because I think it did the original story, but at the same time, with the original story, but at the same time, you know, I kind of wish it had just left it where it was. I just kind of wish it had just left it where it was. It was good. It was
fair
good.
enough. Like I can understand. Like maybe I'm just weird, but like I said, I like the live action. I know that not everyone does. So you say that it was good, but you think that you wish that they had just left it the way that it was.
Yeah, I mean it was already a good movie made in 96. They didn't have to. It was already a good movie made in 96. They didn't have to do more, and then they remade it. And as much as I like that they kept it very similar to the original, it necessary.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary.
A lot of them are like
Agreed.
unnecessary. Like
A lot of them
are like unnecessary. Like Cinderella.
Yeah, there's so many Cinderella stories. Like I will stand by my statement that Ever After is probably the best one, but like there's literally so many of them. Most of yeah, sure, it's not all most of them aren't Disney, but literally just and Cinderella, the live action version, is probably the worst Cinderella story that exists. There are so many better ones.
Yeah, they didn't even try with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
They're
even
like,
try with
oh,
that
it's
one.
a Cinderella story. Let's just do it. Let's literally just remake the entire thing. And on top of the fact,
The best ones,
the
best ones that they've done by far is Maleficent because it was different and it didn't tell you the same story of Sleeping Beauty.
It gave you a different point of view, and that was great.
Yeah, it's like, why couldn't they do that with all the rest? I'm like, I was so excited to like see these live action films, and then it's just the same story when they could have done so much different stuff with it like they did with Maleficent. It's like, do a different point of view. You don't have to do
or
the
worse when
freaking
they try to
story
tell the
over
exact
again.
same story, but they're like, oh, we need to be woke.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. Like the Peter Pan and Wendy, or like the new Little Mermaid that they just released. There's
yeah,
like no
I don't know
reason
much about
for
like I haven't watched Little Mermaid. I haven't watched Peter Pan and Wendy. I do want to see both of them at some point, just so that I can properly discuss them and understand them better. But like Peter Pan and Wendy, that looks kind of cute. It's just that literally I haven't heard a single good thing or bad thing about it except for racism. Like people are mad about Tinkerbell. And that's legitimately the only thing that I've heard about it, which is just like, huh?
I just have like no desire to watch them
enough.
watch them
like,
anymore.
Little Mermaid, it's whatever. My coworker really likes it, but I don't know. I just what she's told me is that it's basically the exact same story. They just did like a few changes and stuff that, yeah. And like I said, I don't know. I don't really want to. I kind of want to see it just so that I understand what exactly happened there, but at the same time, I'm not paying extra for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, maybe I'll watch it when it gets on Disney Plus, but I have no desire to go sit through a movie that's exactly the same as the animated movie that I can watch right now for free.
And okay, but we gotta talk about Pinocchio.
I haven't watched the Pinocchio. Is it good or bad?
I would say that it's good, but why in the world were there 3 Pinocchios in the same year?
No clue.
Like Guillermo del Toro, Guillermo, thank you. Guillermo del Toro. Like, I'm sure that that his movie was good, because he does a good job with almost all of his stuff. I haven't watched it. I've watched some clips and stuff about it, and it's like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll probably watch it eventually. And then there was the one where everyone thought that Pinocchio was gay.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, it's woke points. They made this for woke points." And it's just like, okay. And
Disney used to stay out of all the political. Disney used to stay out of all the political stuff, and now they just flipped a 180 and now are making like political movies, and it's getting ridiculous.
I don't care who you are, what you agree with, but like. I don't care who you are or what you agree with, but like it's kind of annoying when they just continuously are like, we have to do this for politics. I'm like, can't you just do it to make a damn movie? It's a movie. You know,
exactly my point. It's like, I don't care about politics in my movies.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want a good film to sit and watch. I don't need all this other political crap, but if they don't do it, then someone's going to be upset, and then there's going to be blowing up the news and the internet because they didn't do it. It's like,
yeah, and
come
at
on,
the same like
chill pill.
The whole reason that we even wanted to talk about this thing is because of the freaking new Snow White movie, which instead of having it be Snow White and the 7 Dwarves, it's Snow White and the 7 magical creatures, one of which is a dwarf, and it's like, that is not what the dwarf community wanted. I like pretty much everyone who I've seen their videos about it is just like, they didn't want that. They wanted it to be showing real people. They didn't want it to be stereotypes and stuff like that. And that was kind of what like, I can kind of understand why people say that about the original Snow White Disney movie. But at the same time, it's like, we have Mirror Mirror, which is like 1,000 times better. And
Mirror Mirror is by far a great
You mean Snow White?
A great Cinderella story. Or not Cinderella.
Yeah.
Snow White. I cannot English today.
Fair enough.
It is too early.
Yeah, Snow White, Mirror Mirror is absolutely the best. I do have to say that I do want to see that Red Shoes movie.
Red Shoes?
Yeah, Snow White with the red shoes. I think that's what it is. Because it's kind of a different story, because the dwarves are basically cursed. It's Merlin, Arthur, and I think like some of the knights is what the dwarves are, and they were cursed by a witch so that they would be turned into dwarves and not have their powers when people looked at them. When nobody's looking at them, then they become their true selves and can actually do shit.
How weird.
Yeah, like that's
how weird.
That's what I've seen about it, and it's just like, I want to see this, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about it. Also, Snow White, her real appearance is that she is she's a bigger woman, and she feels very self-conscious about it. But Merlin and her basically fall in love anyways, and stuff like and it's very much a thing about body positivity, as well as not looking at people's appearances.
Oh, it's an animated film.
Yeah.
Oh,
like I said, I don't know. I don't know if you guys would necessarily be interested in it, but at the same time, it's like, huh, that actually looks like it could be an interesting story. Is it necessarily going to be the best thing ever? No. But at the same time, it's an interesting way to go on that story. So, yeah. Obviously, we talked about Cinderella. Ever After is the best one. Maleficent was good. I have...
Maleficent by far the best. Maleficent is by far the best
I
remake that they've done.
If they did a bunch, I think Maleficent and Cruella are in the same category. In
Oh,
that,
I totally forgot about Cruella.
I haven't
Cruella
seen
de
it
Vil
yet.
was fantastic.
I haven't seen it yet.
I love
oh my
that
god,
movie.
they're both in the same category in that they took the point of they're both in the same category in that they took the point of view of the villain and gave us a whole new perspective on the. They give you a whole new perspective on the story, which I think was refreshing. They give you a whole new perspective on the story, which I think was refreshing.
Yes, I totally forgot about Cruella. Cruella was
Okay.
amazing. You
I
need
hadn't
to
heard
watch
very
that
many good
one.
things about it, so that's why I hadn't watched it
So
yet.
good.
I don't know why people
great and they've already dish on it because it's great and they've already done so many live action of
Dalmatians
Lady
already.
of
Yeah, that was done. That was like one of the
Dalmatians
first ones that they
already.
did, if I'm
They've
not
already done
mistaken.
live action.
Yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah, like
Yeah, years and years
102
ago.
Dalmatians, the sequel, was done in 2000. So that's
Yeah,
literally the
the first one.
first ones that they did.
Yeah, and the first one was
I think there might be others, but I think that's the actual first one. That was a remake, anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like Cruella was fantastic.
Yeah.
but like
Okay.
Cruella was
Cruella by
fantastic.
far, like,
Maleficent
best
and Cruella by
remakes
far
that
are
they've
like
done, and
the best remakes that they've
do
done.
that.
And
Okay.
with the rest
they
of
just
them.
need to do that
Yeah, like
with the rest of them.
Yeah,
but
fair
like
enough.
they probably
Um,
won't.
Okay. So, I haven't seen Aladdin. I haven't heard good things about it though.
I refuse to watch it. I refused to watch it. I watched to a point.
Oh,
and then I turned
joy.
off. It was so
Well-
bad.
watched it.
I
It's not
I've
the
watched it.
greatest.
It's not
But to be
the
fair-
greatest.
To be fair, there is no
Give me,
replacing Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Give me
Robin Williams. Yeah, sorry. Give me
saying
Robin
that-
Williams.
Will
Um,
Smith didn't
saying
do
that
a bad
Will
job.
Smith didn't.
He didn't.
Do a
I have heard
bad
that. I have
job.
heard that he hasn't done. He
in
didn't
it.
do a bad
I-
job. But at the same time, it's like you can't replace Robin Williams. He was.
I gotta say, Will Smith, like,
I gotta say,
carried
Will
that
Smith
movie by himself.
like, carried.
Oh,
that
that's
movie
bad.
By himself.
That's
Yeah.
The rest
bad.
of
If
it
it's
was
that.
garbage.
If that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Will Smith did
Yeah,
a great
I'm
job
sorry, but
for him
Will Smith did
filling
a
in
great
for
job
Robin
for him
Williams. May he
filling
rest
in for
peace.
Robin
Yeah.
Williams.
But,
May he rest in peace.
the rest
But,
of it is garbage.
The rest
That's-
of it
that's
is
sad.
garbage.
and
That's sad.
apparently they're
Not
trying to do a
very
second
good.
one.
And
Just-
apparently
no,
they're trying
don't
to
do
do a
that.
second one.
Oh
That's
my
what they're
god.
planning on doing is making a whole.
That's what they're
second
planning on
one
doing
of
is
the
making a whole
animated
second
second
one
one.
of
Like,
the.
This is
animated
ridiculous.
second
They don't
one.
need
I'm
to
like,
be doing this.
This is
No.
ridiculous. They don't need to be doing this.
Okay. So now I gotta talk. Now we gotta talk about Mulan.
Disney is.
Oh my god, that's the worst remake. Oh my god, that's the worst remake they have ever done. They're like,
We're gonna keep it true to the original story.
Yeah,
No,
for
bitch,
one
just
thing.
make it what it was. If I don't get to hear saying "I'll Make a Man Out of You" by Donny Osmond,
Yeah.
I'm going to riot. And guess what I didn't hear? One thing I did appreciate, the only thing, the last surviving thing that could possibly make that movie remotely redeemable to me is that they took the original score and made it into a instrumental version played by an orchestra, and that was the score for the movie. That is
Wow.
the only redeeming quality.
Another thing that I have to say about it is that
I did.
the Mulan live action felt more like it was an animated movie than the animated movie.
Word.
Like,
Word.
I was just in shock by that. It felt more like it was an animated movie than the actual the original movie. It's just like, how? How is that the case?
I didn't think it was bad.
I didn't think it
I
was
do agree. Like
bad,
the
but
original is
I do
better.
agree. Like
Yeah.
the original is better.
Yeah, I don't.
Like they hype up all these movies.
Like they hype
as
up
live
all
action
these
with their trailers, and then
movies
go and
as
watch
live
it, and
action
it's
with their
just
trailers, and then you go and
Yeah.
watch it, and it's just garbage.
I have no words. I legitimately have no words for it. It's just like, huh? What on earth were you thinking? Just, I don't know.
I have no idea. Disney and
I have
Hollywood.
no idea. Disney and Hollywood is just running out of ideas, and they're not
Yeah,
making
fair enough.
good movies.
They still have new things.
But
Are
if
they
it
running
is
out
a
of
good-
ideas?
Yeah.
They still have new
Yes, but,
things
like,
coming out that are good.
90% of it is all rated R.
Yes, but like 90% of it is
That's
all
fair.
rated R.
Well, that's
Like,
true.
the only like good movies that come out.
Like the only like good movies that come out that people go and watch
Yeah.
are the rated R films nowadays.
That's
I
fair.
want to go see the new Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, it actually
They're
looks pretty
making
good.
another one.
It's already out in theaters.
Like I think I was really interested with what they were what like some people have been saying is that apparently some people are pissed off about the what's her name? Who's their friend? Why am I forgetting her name? April?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
Yeah.
she's been
Yeah,
in
I haven't
every
seen it
single
yet.
one of them.
I don't remember.
The red she's usually red haired.
I don't remember.
Um
I don't remember.
okay. But yeah, I
don't
think it's April.
remember.
But yeah, she some people are pissed off because of the fact that she's black in the new one, and it's like apparently the creators had always like one creator had always intended for her to be mixed race, and the other one had always imagined her being white. And it's just like the fact that the creators couldn't even agree on this is just so telling. Like the fact that that's the case is just like what the heck. Like let's just not even worry about this at that at this point anymore.
Oh, it's an animated movie.
Yeah, Ninja
Oh, it's
Turtles
an
is always
Good
animated.
movie.
Well, except for that freaking the live action
No.
one is probably the worst of those.
They're not bad. I enjoy it.
They're not bad.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
Okay.
Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Another thought.
Oh, I need to see it.
Disney's Haunted Mansion.
I haven't-
I want to see it.
Oh,
It's rated PG-13.
I wanna
think
see
that
it.
could be good.
Yeah,
It's rated
I
PG-13.
follow
I
someone
feel like that could be good.
who's obsessed with the Haunted Mansion, and apparently she says it's good, but that's like
Well, that's high praise.
yeah. So
Well,
there's
that's high
that. So I
praise.
do plan on watching that at some point. I just need to get around to it. You know what? So 100%. Two of the best of the Disney remakes is Alice in Wonderland.
By far.
Those two movies
oh,
are great,
by far.
but then Christopher
Oh,
Robin comes out of nowhere and is truly fantastic.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about Christopher Robin. You know.
Oh
for me,
my goodness, I
I
forgot
think,
about Christopher Robin. You know, for me, I
the one you
think
just mentioned previously. What was it?
the one you just mentioned previously.
Yeah.
What was
I
it?
feel like that one.
Alice
Well,
in
Alice in
Wonderland.
Take it or leave it.
I feel like that one
There's a lot
can
of
kind of
things
take it or
they-
leave it.
I think,
There's a lot of things they. I think. As we're referring to the Tim Burton one. Tim Burton took a lot
fair
of creative liberties that I didn't appreciate,
And a lot of it, like,
Uh,
he combined some things.
and a lot of it, like he combined some things that were not in the original books. He combined things that were not in Alice in Wonderland, but that were in Alice Through the Looking Glass, and he put some of the Alice Through the Looking Glass things in Alice in Wonderland. And I just didn't appreciate some of the things, the liberties he took, especially when he misquoted and rewrote the Jabberwocky. That was not okay with me. I was
Yeah, that's
super
fair.
upset about that.
And there's just some
Um,
liberties that I did not appreciate.
And there's just some creative liberties that I did not appreciate from him. On the other hand, there are some things that I really did appreciate about it. For instance, the fact that we were supposed to know that it was Alice returning to Wonderland, and it wasn't her first time there, and that's why they were saying, "Is she the Alice?" and things like that.
Yeah.
And so it's
And to a
very
certain
different.
degree, it feels like it's
But-
the live action Alice in Wonderland as well as Through the Looking Glass. They both feel like they are sequels rather than a remake.
I would agree with that.
Exactly. Like I like the.
I would agree with that.
Exactly.
First Alice in
Like, I like-
Wonderland
I
one.
like
did
the
not like,
First Alice in Wonderland one. I did not like
Hmm.
Through the Looking
Yeah,
Glass
I think that's
as
pretty much everyone's agreement is that Through the Looking Glass was not as good. I still like both. I'm weird, I know, but yeah, they I think, but obviously Alice in Wonderland, the first one, that was really good. And then obviously Christopher Robin. Oh my gosh,
Christopher Robin takes the cake for any live action story.
Christopher Robin takes the cake
Yeah,
for any
and
live action
like,
story they've done.
honestly,
about
it
anything.
makes me cry every time I watch it.
Every time. Oh, I weep openly.
Every time. Oh,
It
I
is-
weep openly.
It's so good, and
I
it's
need
just
to
like
go see it.
it's
I haven't
really
watched
something.
it.
It really hits you in the heart because it's just like, he's leaving his childhood behind to a certain degree while still keeping the memories alive, and it's just my heart.
It's very emotional for me.
It is very emotional. It's great.
very
I love
emotional
it.
for me.
Especially being someone who has
Especially being someone who has
it's
stuffed
crazy.
animals that are
Yeah,
20, 25 years old.
exactly.
It's crazy.
And it's just like, and the fact that he is growing up. He's grown up, and he's gonna leave it to his children and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
it's a great movie. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's good.
I need to watch it then.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I also will
I need
say
to
that I
watch it
did
then.
like Oz
Yes,
the Great
you
and
do.
Powerful. I know that not everyone did, but I did. I liked it.
I didn't. It was okay. It wasn't like
I didn't.
the best.
It was okay.
Yeah,
It
like,
wasn't
like let's
the
be
best.
clear here. With all of the Wizard of Oz movies, all three of them, they did go down in quality. So like, obviously,
The Wizard of Oz.
that
The
was
Wizard
great.
of
Everyone
Oz.
agrees that that's one of the best movies ever.
It's by far the
What was next? Return to Oz.
Body dangling in the background.
Yeah, except for the whole
body dangling in the
Yeah,
background.
besides
thing.
that.
That's,
Return to Oz. It was good. It just wasn't as good. And then Oz the Great and Powerful, and it's like, yeah, I liked it. That's about as much as I have to say about it.
It seemed like an unnecessary sequel to me.
Yeah.
it seemed like an unnecessary sequel to me.
I agree. There's a lot of unnecessary
Yeah.
stuff that they just like
Yeah.
try and it doesn't
It's all
work.
about the money, money, money.
All right.
It's all about the money,
So now-
money,
so now about-
money.
to get out of the
Exactly.
money,
good
money.
feelings and how we like certain movies. Time to talk about the worst of all of the live action remakes, Pete's Dragon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Jesus
gosh, that-
Christ.
That away so far deep in
Oh, I
That
had
was-
stuffed that away
that
so
I
far
had forgot
deep
that
in
it
my
existed, so thank you
conscious,
for
my
that.
unconscious that I had forgot that it existed. So
It's
thank
so
you for that,
bad.
you bastard.
That
Why
was
was it
totally
scary?
unnecessary.
It was so bad.
That movie was unnecessary.
Why? Why was the
My
dragon
question is
first?
more,
That's my
what
question.
the fuck did they do to my boy?
I mean, there's that. I swear to God, that's in the same.
I mean,
vein
there's
as the
that.
Iron
If-
Giant. If
I
they
swear to
remake
God,
Iron
that's in the
Giant,
same
I'm
vein as the
gonna
Iron
sue.
Giant. If they remake the Iron
Uh,
Giant, I'm
there's gonna be
I'm
riots
sue.
if anyone
I know
ever
that's
remakes
not technically
that.
Disney.
Like if they
I
made
know
a
it's
sequel,
technically Disney, but Disney owns it now, and I feel like.
I know it's
Yeah.
not technically Disney.
if they
but
were going
Disney
to
owns
do
it now, and I
anything with
feel
the
like,
Iron Giant, it would be a sequel and it would be continuing the story, and that's it. Basically, it's a reunion.
No.
A reunion.
The Iron
Them
Giant
reunion.
ended in a neat
No.
little- in a neat little bow.
The
It
Iron
can
Giant
stay.
ended
It
in a
does
neat
not need to be
neat
Yeah,
little bow.
like
it can
like
stay.
I said,
It does
if they
not
were
need
to
be
do
touched.
anything at all, it would just be a reunion. Them coming back together, maybe fighting some bad guys as they're trying to come back together, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, less. They don't have to make it, but if they were, that is all that they do. Period. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Oh my gosh. How about we talk about the other the remake that wasn't actually a remake, that's actually like one of the best live action Disney movies ever.
Okay.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay.
Apprentice.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Apprentice. Those are old man
Sorcerer's
shoes.
Apprentice. Those are old man shoes.
Oh my
And
gosh,
I
I love
love
that
them.
movie so much. I need to rewatch it.
It's so
It-
good.
So good.
It's
Like,
so
is that
good.
technically a remake?
good.
No, but at the same time, it kind of is.
Left.
How is it a remake?
Because
Of
it's
what?
it's
How is it a remake? Of what?
Yeah.
So it's a remake of the Fantasia short,
Yeah.
The Sorcerer's Apprentice from 1940. Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks originally worked on the short, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, so that Mickey would be the apprentice of Merlin. That would introduce Merlin into the world of Disney and give them the opportunity to do things like The Sword and the Stone, where Merlin is more prominently featured. So they took essentially a 15-minute short, made a whole movie about and made a
well, it was
whole
movie
said. About it really well in their favor. And it turned out really well in their favor.
I totally forgot about the Fantasia stuff.
Well, they made two. They made Fantasia 1940, which was the original, and then they made
and
Fantasia,
I love Fantasia
2000 and, well, 2000.
Yeah, both are incredible. There's no debating that. We're done. But yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice, I freaking love that movie. I think pretty much everyone agrees that it's one of the best and just so funny. It's just a great movie. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just good.
I was really looking for them to make like a second one.
I'm fine with them just having the one, honestly. Like if they want to do anything else with it, cool, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, it's good. I'm done. We don't need to see any more. Now we did talk about The Little Mermaid, and I think we talked a little bit about this a while ago. The other Little Mermaid.
The one that nobody knows about because it came out.
That is the movie that people that like everyone forgets that it existed, and it's just like like Google thinks that it's Disney for some freaking reason. Like you look up live action Disney movies. That's what I have. That's the list that I'm currently looking at. And it's between Lightyear and the live action on stage Little Mermaid.
Yes. Which again, kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Which,
but it's
again,
like,
kind of
why does this exist? It's not Disney whatsoever. I want to watch it at some point. I just have never gotten around to it. Because it's a completely different story. It has nothing to, it's literally about a mermaid who is imprisoned by a carnival, and she gets saved, and then they have to work together to escape the carnival. I think that's basically the story. I don't know much about it. But also it has... It's not the original Tale of Little Mermaid. It's a different movie. It's definitely not the original Tale of Little Mermaid. I want to see it at some point. Movie. But it's... legitimately, when I heard that they were making a live-action Little Mermaid again, I was like, wait, didn't they already do that? Like, back in 2018?
My same question.
And it was just like, oh no, that literally is not theirs. It's just like it's a completely different company.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not Disney.
It's weird.
It's just there. It's like Mirror Mirror.
It's just there. It's like Mirror Mirror or Pan.
Or that other Peter Pan movie.
Hook.
Well, Hook, yeah, Hook is good. Hook? But no, I'm talking about the
no, it's called Pan.
If I can find it. That's Hook or Pan. No, I'm trying to. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Peter Pan 2003. Let me see. Let me send you guys the IMDb. Like, legitimately, the Wendy for this in this one was probably one of my first awakenings, because.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Oh wow.
As well as Tinkerbell.
Oh,
that one, yeah.
Oh, that one.
Like legitimately, that Wendy and Tinkerbell were probably my first. Not my first crushes, but my first fictional crushes. It's they were in there. They were up there. So yeah, I love that movie. Like there's where when Wendy kissed Peter Pan, I was like, I want to be Peter Pan right now.
Oh my goodness.
Like, obviously, I was a kid at the time, so that's fine. It's whatever. But at the same time, it's just hilarious.
You weirdo.
I know, I am.
You weirdo.
But that's probably one of the best ones. I don't even know who made that.
I can tell you. Let's see.
I can tell you.
Universal Studios.
Yeah,
Let's
so that's
see.
Universal.
Universal Studios.
I don't think I ever watched Pan.
Don't.
It's not good. Okay.
Don't.
It's
It's-
horrible.
it's-
like they try to do a good job.
It's
and
horrible. Like they try to do a
Mm.
good
do
job,
well.
and
It's
it
got
just
Hugh
like
Jackman in it
didn't
and
do
a couple
well.
other
And it's got
people,
Hugh
and it's
Jackman in it, and
it's
a
not
couple other people, and it's like
Hmm.
it's
and
not.
I watched it,
It's not good.
and my
I like
parents,
watched
got
it.
for like
and my
$1 at
Parents like
Walmart.
got it for like $1
Mm.
So we
at
watched it,
Walmart,
and it's like, it
and
wasn't,
so we watched it, and it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't
it,
great.
it
Yeah.
wasn't.
To make it into a musical.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
They tried to
Yeah,
make
so,
it into
yeah.
a musical.
They 100% of all of the, so for Peter Pan, I don't know if the original if the new live action Peter Pan is good or not. But if you want a live action Peter Pan, literally Peter Pan 2003 or
Look,
Hook, those are your best options.
Look,
Hook is amazing.
It
I
truly
love
is.
Hook
that
is
movie.
amazing.
is.
I love
It's so
that
good.
movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because that one's not even a like.
Because that
remake or
one's not
anything,
even a,
it's,
like,
kind of like a sequel
Remake
adding
or
on to the
anything. It's
story
like kind of like a sequel
the
adding on to
second
the
Peter
story
Pan
of
film.
like
Yeah.
the second
Yeah, pretty
Peter
much.
Pan film.
Yep.
Because like he marries
Because like he
Wendy's daughter.
marries
Yeah, that's kind of
Wendy's
funny.
daughter. at,
and
That's
starts to
weird.
grow up.
Yeah.
and
it's
it
just
starts
a
to grow
great
up.
film.
and it-
Robert
and it's just
Williams
a
does
great
fantastic
Film.
job in that
Robert
film.
Williams just
You
does
say
a
Robert?
fantastic job in that film.
Sorry, I said Rob. I cannot
Sorry,
English today. Sorry.
I said Rob. I cannot English today. Sorry.
You're good.
It is-
I'm mostly messing with you.
10:30 in the morning, and I cannot
Oh,
English.
and then there's Dumbo. We don't talk about Dumbo.
Just like we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about just like we don't talk about Bruno.
Dumbo or the Lady in the Tramp
We don't talk
film that
about
they did
Dumbo
live
or the
action.
Lady in the Tramp film that they did live action.
The Lady in the Tramp film was not half bad. It didn't include a lot of the same things, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do it,
Like
I mean,
I
do
need
it
to.
that way.
I should watch it at some point. I forgot
I
that
have
it
not
existed
seen
though.
it.
I
So
watched it the day it came out with my friend, and she liked it. And she was in love with the original. So I
Okay.
figure that's a good response.
so. Oh, and then we need the Jungle Book.
I actually enjoyed the Jungle Book.
Yeah, I don't know.
actually
It's
enjoyed
just
the Jungle Book.
it's just there
I
to me,
did-
and it feels like it's too
Yeah,
much of an
I
action
really-
flick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah,
not
that
really
one-
what the Jungle Book was,
Yeah.
and it's just like
yeah, that one.
it's whatever. It exists.
Yeah, I was not
Yeah.
happy with that.
Yeah,
film.
I was
I
not
liked the original.
happy with that film.
Yeah.
I liked the original.
We all agree Lion King does not exist. There's only the animated.
Yet they're trying to do a prequel movie.
Yet they're
to The
trying to
Lion King.
do
That's
a
just
prequel movie
why?
to The Lion King.
No, thank you.
yeah. That's
Oh, it might be better.
No, thank
because
you.
It's a different story.
I
than
don't know.
the-
It might be
them
better
trying to
because it's a
remake the
different
original
story than them trying to
Which
remake
they
the
should've done
original
in the
story,
first place.
yeah.
which they should have done in the
Like,
first
Come on,
place.
Start doing different
Like,
stories
come
of the
on,
original
start
story.
doing
Do it off of
Different stories of the
villain or
original
something
story. Do
else.
it off of
It's kinda getting
the
ridiculous.
villain or
Yeah.
something else. It's kind of getting ridiculous.
Oh, and then me and Joker were talking about this. These don't have live action remakes yet, but pretty much everyone agrees that they should at some point. Treasure-
Atlantis and,
Treasure Planet,
Atlantis
yep. Atlantis and Treasure
and,
Planet. Pretty much like
Treasure
The fantastic
What
live
would
action
be
movie.
fantastic live action movie?
Movies.
Like they could do
Yeah,
so
like,
much with
those-
movies.
those two for sure. I think like pretty much everyone agrees that those should get live action remakes at some point. Just literally retell the exact same story, but in live action, it'll be great. Like don't like maybe like some slight changes to make it better.
Yeah. No notes. Those movies are perfect.
Yeah,
No,
they are
no
perfect,
changes, no
but at the
notes,
same
those
time,
movies
like
are perfect.
there are going to be some slight changes when you're translating from live act or from cartoon to live action. It's gonna be, but like very minor.
To play Milo Thatch I just need
Yeah.
someone to play Milo Thatch who does a good job. I need them to take a someone casting and just like I need them to
Why
take
do
a
I want to
fan
see you be
casting
Milo?
and just do that. I'm not skinny enough to be Milo Thatch, but if I could, I would. I'm not skinny enough to be Milo
Like-
Thatch, but if I could, I would.
On Facebook, I saw something on Facebook one day of them,
making the cast
of just like
for,
random people like
Yeah.
making the cast for Atlantis.
Yeah.
Like that would be a
Literally people-
fantastic cast, and I don't remember when I saw it, but like
I believe Cole Sprouse should
Oh,
play.
Don't people say
Milo.
like Danny DeVito should play what's his name, Mole?
Yes.
Everyone agrees that is like that would be
Yes.
perfect casting.
Oh my gosh, Danny DeVito is Moliere. He'd be perfect. Oh my gosh, Danny DeVito is Moliere. He'd be perfect.
Oh,
I saw it somewhere and I don't remember where it
I
was.
saw
on
it
Facebook.
somewhere,
It
and I
was a
don't
couple
remember
of
where it
months
was
ago.
on
I'm like, that would
Facebook.
be
It
a
was a couple
fantastic cast.
months ago. I'm like, that would be a fantastic cast, and I don't remember who was all on
You
it.
don't, trust me, you don't want to know. And now I'm telling you. Audrey, don't tell me. You should have told me, but you did. And now I'm telling you, you don't want to know.
oh my gosh, that is just freaking hilarious. I need to rewatch Atlantis. It's such a good
If that
movie.
line isn't in whatever remake they do,
And
I'm not watching it.
It's rare that you find a movie that has.
And it's rare that you find a movie that has an incredible independent sense of
Yeah.
the animation and the way that they did it. Because
Yeah.
I've never seen anything quite animated like Atlantis. And then also to have impeccable writing, character development, and come up with a language and culture. I
Yeah.
mean, this is getting to
Exactly.
Tolkien. I
It's-
mean,
It's truly a fantastic movie, and I don't think I ever watched the sequel. I might have, but I don't remember if I did.
The sequel is garbage. You're not missing literally anything. The sequel is garbage. You're not missing literally
Wow.
anything. You might as well be better off watching Scooby Doo.
Yeah, exactly. The sequel is horrible.
The sequel, they change animation styles. They have 3 plot lines in the whole movie because they have one plot line and then it stops, second plot line and then it stops,
Weird.
and then a third plot line and then the movie's over.
And
you might
it's
as well
so
just watch every
confusing.
episode of Scooby-Doo.
confusing.
That's weird.
And it's so confusing.
It's confusing, it's stupid,
Yeah.
and it feels like a poorly
Okay.
made episode of Scooby Doo.
I watched it. I'm like, this is
It
garbage.
was just horrible. I watched it. I'm like, this is
I think
garbage.
I should watch it
Why
at
am I
least
even
once just so I
watching
can
this?
understand exactly how bad it is.
No, you should. But
No, no, you
I hope.
should.
it's so
But,
bad.
I mean-
like the original one.
It's
was
so
fantastic,
bad.
and,
Like the original
Yeah.
one
The
was
sequels-
fantastic, and like
what I have issues
the
with
sequels-
Now. Like, they try to
that's
put
what I have
so much
issues with
effort
now. Is like they
into,
try to
making a
put so
sequel
much effort
or
into like making a
doing
sequel,
something, and
or
it does not work.
doing
Oh,
something.
I need to know.
and it
What did
just
you guys
does
think of
not
Mary
work.
Poppins Returns?
I have not watched that.
I have
You
not
love it?
watched that.
It's there.
Love it.
I've heard
We've
so many
we've said
bad
it's pretty
things
good.
about it.
It's
Mm-mm.
say it's great. I would watch it again. I think Lin-Manuel
I
Miranda
say it's
was the
great.
right
I would watch it
person to
again.
write
I
the
think
musical
Lin-Manuel
score for it.
Miranda was the right person to
oh
write
yeah,
the
he
musical
did
score
that.
for
I
it.
forgot about that.
And
Because-
I think it was.
And
his
he was
best
in
work
it.
since Hamilton, quite
I think it was his best work since Hamilton. Quite honestly, he captured what it was like to lose somebody and miss them and go through this grieving process as a child with a nanny who was there for the original.
Fun. Yeah, I need to rewatch it because it was really good. It was a well-made movie. I think I watched it way later though. Oh, I remember when I watched it. Oh, that might be
During
why I
COVID?
loved it. Oh, that's so I watched it in 2019. Like really early 2019. Shortly after I moved here. Which you guys know what happened in 2019? I watched it on a plane. So, yeah. That might.
Why'd you watch it? I'm confused.
Why'd
you watch it? I'm
right. That was. We were going to my. We were either going
do it.
to or coming back from my, grandma's funeral when we watched it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when we
Oh.
watched it. So, that might be why I liked it so much because it hurts. Oh boy. Okay. So that's the thing. Yeah. Let's go to a different topic. BFG. How do we feel about that?
That one's based off a book.
Yeah.
That's not really. Well, that one's based off a book.
Yeah. I
That's
just
not
saw
really
it and I
a
was like, I need to come
remake
up
or
with something
anything.
to change topics.
It was okay. I did.
Yeah.
It was okay. I did.
I mean, Roald
I thought it was hilarious,
They just
though.
took the book and ran, so. I mean, Roald
Fair
Dahl is an
enough.
excellent writer,
Yeah.
and they just took the book and ran,
Um,
so.
Party. That was hilarious. The dog's party. That was hilarious.
Leave my topic.
Across the floor.
Oh, that.
They were motorboat
Okay, we need to not
dogs.
talk about that. Okay. Oh, and how about Enchanted and its sequel? I haven't watched the sequel yet, but
I liked Enchanted, the first one. I liked Enchanted, the first one. I have not watched the sequel,
Fair enough.
and I have no desire to watch the sequel.
I enjoyed
Yeah, fair enough.
Enchanted because it was so off the wall, and because Patrick Dempsey's character was standing there going, "Why is everyone singing? What the hell?" And I could relate to that because I felt that way. You know, I got that. I haven't watched Disenchanted because I just haven't cared enough. I feel like Enchanted was so good on its own that they just kind of were like, "Let's make more money and squeeze out a sequel."
yeah,
And
I haven't heard anything.
Kinda dumb.
I haven't heard anything good, but I
Like, I
also haven't
looked-
heard anything bad
I-
about it. Which is just like, that's just such a that just shows that it's just forgettable.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was looking at like the trailer. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was looking at like the trailer. I watched the trailer. I'm like, this looks like it's all filmed on one set, and they tried so much to make it good, and I don't have a desire to watch it because it just looks like they built a set and just decided to make
Oh, fun.
a movie on this one set. And it
That's
just looks
just fun.
horrible. Yeah. Like if you want to build a movie on like if you want to build a movie on a set, you gotta do better, and it just does not look real. It just looks fake. The whole movie just looks fake
Okay.
to me. The original Enchanted. Like the original Enchanted, they were in New York, and it didn't look like they were on a set. But like this one just looks like they're on a set. Like they built a cottage on a set, and they're just like, here we go, let's just do this.
Okay.
It just looks really bad.
Yeah.
So-
I'm sorry. It just looks really bad. I'm sorry. It looks garbage, and I have no
Okay,
desire
so
to
I
watch
have
it.
one more thing that I want to talk about before we end this nerd chat. Do you guys know about Snow Queen?
No. I mean,
Yes.
original. No. I mean,
Yeah, the
Yes,
original story where
original
Frozen
story of Elsa?
people came up, where the Disney people took the whole story of and they made Frozen.
Yes.
So there's a movie that retells the entire story, and it looks like shit. It looks like one of the worst possible movies ever to exist, and it looks like a cash grab for because of Frozen. It looks like it looks like Super K, aka or the or Kiara the Brave, whatever you want to call that, because that was literally a movie that was made before Brave realized, oh, here in America there's this movie called Brave. Let's capitalize on it and change the name of the movie to Kiara the Brave. Talk about this character that has no freaking involvement. That's what what the Snow Queen looks like. In actuality, it's actually the first movie specifically is actually a decent movie about this that is retelling the exact story, and it came out years before Frozen. Nobody freaking knew about it, and somehow it's actually a decent movie. And it came out in 2012, and it's basically it's literally just about a kid going out trying to find her brother who was kidnapped by the Snow Queen, and she comes across several different people. It looks like shit when you just start to look at it, but like actuality, it's a decent movie. It's a pretty good movie. And then the second movie came out, and the third movie, and it's just
gone downhill.
It's gone downhill very
It's
very
just gone
quickly.
downhill.
Like the second movie is bad. I own it, and I'm just like, I do not ever want to watch this again. I won't watch Snow Queen again, the first one, but the actual but the the sequel, just no. But yeah, it's a Russian 3D computer animated fantasy adventure family film. That is literally what they say on the Wikipedia article. So yeah, it's Russian, and it looks decent. It's nowhere near American or really anyone else's standards of making good movies. But but as for but as a whole, decent movie. It should not. There should not be any more. It needs to stop. It should not. They should not have made the second movie, and for some reason they're still making more. Like they made the second movie in 2014, the third movie in 2016, and the fourth movie in 2018.
Oh dear goodness.
And I think they're working on a fifth.
Oh dear goodness.
They need to.
People just need to stop.
Yeah, it's
It's like they
just
try
bad.
so hard.
For some reason they're continuing it on, and I just.
Like,
Like they try to make money with
Like, they try to make money
sequels
with
off of them, but
movies
yet they
and
can't
try to make
do it.
sequels off
Yeah.
of them. But
I don't
yet
know.
they
Maybe
can't
the second
do
and
it.
or rather the third and the fourth movie are actually decent, but the second one is just such hot garbage. It's just sad.
There's like very few like sequel.
There's like
movies
very
that are
few like
decent.
sequel movies.
Unless you're talking
that are
about freaking
decent, like-
DreamWorks. DreamWorks is
you got
great.
like
Oh yeah, DreamWorks makes great sequels.
oh yeah,
I don't know how they
DreamWorks
do it.
makes
They do. They make
great
good
sequels.
yeah.
I don't know how they
Um,
do it. But they
some
do,
people say
man. They
that,
make good sequels.
What was it?
Yeah, like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, Shrek
was
was great.
great.
Second
And
one
the
was great.
second
Third
one
one
was
was great.
great.
Fourth one is, huh? Fifth one, I don't know.
There's not a fifth one.
Oh, they haven't made the fifth one yet. Okay.
There's not a fifth one of.
Wait, they're making a fifth one of Shrek.
Yeah, they're making a fifth
Wait, they're
Shrek.
making a fifth
Um,
one of
Puss
Shrek.
in Boots,
I know they're
put-
making a fifth Kung Fu Panda movie.
Just
and I'm like,
why? I know they're making a
why?
fifth Kung Fu
The Puss in
Panda
Boots
movie,
stuff
and
was
I'm
good.
like, just why?
Oh, I need to watch that new one.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, I need to
the new
watch
one
that
we do
new
need,
one.
that
I
we
need
need
to
to
watch
watch that at
the
some
new
point. So the obviously, me and Joker love How to Train Your Dragon. We know, Jack, you have your hang-ups about it.
I think that as a separate entity from the original material.
I think that as a separate entity from the original material, it's fine. But if you're gonna call it something that already exists and use the names of the characters that
Yeah.
already exist, then you
Yeah,
damn
I know.
well better do
Like
it
I said,
justice, and
you
they
have
didn't.
your hang-ups about it, and we never read the book, so that's why we like it. So
The music is just fantastic in it.
yeah,
The music is just
It really is.
fantastic in it.
there's I legitimately I cry at certain points every time I watch it. For pretty much the entire yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
I need to watch the third one again.
It's
I've
so
only watched it
good.
once and
I
didn't
need to
like it
watch
that
the
much,
third
but
one
maybe
again.
if
I've
I
only
go
watched
back
it
and
once
watch
and
the
I
third
didn't
one
like it
again,
that much,
I'll
but
like
maybe
it
if I
more.
go back and
Yeah.
watch the third one again,
I think that's
then I'll
probably
like it
the
more.
only DreamWorks movie where they did not. There are two movies. Correction. There are two movies that they did that were not good. When they made their sequels. First is the Madagascar. Madagascar. I don't think that they did well on like it was Madagascar 2 is fine, but it's at the same time it's just as well as like all of the sequels to that I don't like it. I love the first Madagascar. I think pretty much everyone does. And then there is Prince of Egypt and Joseph King of Dreams. pretty much every King of Dreams is not good, and it was the sequel,
Yeah.
which is weird because it's actually technically a prequel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was not good.
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
I've seen those films.
I have
You,
not
you haven't
those
seen
films.
the Prince of Egypt?
Nope.
You should watch Prince of Egypt. Don't worry
Nope.
about Joseph King of Dreams. Pretty much everyone agrees that that's not a good movie.
Yeah, it's not very. Especially when they did such a good job on Prince. Yeah, it's not very.
Yeah.
Especially when they did such a
Here,
good job on Prince of Egypt.
I will send you guys a video that you guys should watch at some point. And that was, yeah. Wait, I said that we were gonna end this.
Have you heard that Disney?
Have you heard that Disney's trying to do a live action
Are they
version
really?
of Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Why?
I don't
Yes.
know, because Disney and Hollywood are running
I
out of
don't
ideas.
know, because Disney and Hollywood are running out of ideas, and they're like, let's just remake this movie into
People are
live
stupid.
action.
People
You know,
are,
I've never actually seen that movie either.
huh?
You know, I've never actually
saw the
seen
first-
that movie either.
Back.
I've seen Hunchback.
I've never seen Hunchback.
I like the fact that it was a.
I
It's
have
good. I like the fact that it was a
Yeah.
commentary on something important without making it
Yeah.
too dumb.
I would say that I liked Hunchback of Notre Dame. I have not seen the sequel. I've heard that it's really bad. But that's
Yeah, when you write something that's iconic as Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, well, when you write something that's iconic as Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then
have the audacity to not
you
the original author's
have the audacity to not use the original author's work on the sequel,
Wait,
I
so
feel
wait,
like
wait,
you
wait,
deserve
wait,
to
wait,
whatever is coming to you.
run that by me one more time.
So the original book, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, is a real
So the
thing.
original
It's a real
book,
by
The
Victor
Hunchback
Hugo.
of Notre Dame,
It's
is a real thing. It's a real book by Victor Hugo, and it's a commentary on the way that people who are
Okay.
who are outcasts in society are treated. The original movie did a great job of handling that. The second movie, however, doesn't take into
Wow.
account anything that Victor Hugo
Really?
wrote.
It just created a whole new story for Quasimodo.
That's
It just created a whole new story for Quasimodo.
that's sad.
That shouldn't. It was unnecessary.
That's really sad.
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That I would really like to see.
There's a
Can we
lot
talk
of
about
things.
something though that I would really like to see is I would like to see Ender's Game remade, and I would like to
Yes.
see remade.
Yeah, pretty much
possibly a
every
series
book
or
they
perhaps a much longer
almost
movie,
every book should at some
because-
point get a series. I think that because it's been going so freaking well.
I would like to find a way, if they could, to find.
I would like to find a way, if they could, to find 6-year-olds or small or older kids,
Bring-
or 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Do the Little Rascal style.
Yeah, you know, I don't want them
Yeah.
to age it up as much as they did in the new movie because it was like
He was
okay, but
sick.
the point was
Yeah,
the
I
effect
think
that war
it would
has on
probably
children.
be
That's
better
the point of the book.
to with things like that with Ender's Game. I think that the better option would be to just do an animated thing rather than a live.
You still have to have child voice acting.
I mean, you could do that. You still have to
Yeah,
have
my
child
big
voice
thing
acting,
about that
but I
though
mean,
is that it takes so
I
freaking
don't-
long to
I
make
can't see it being
pretty much
animated.
anything. That by the time that these kids are, if they want to do that, especially with Ender's Game, because of the fact that he ages so much, and they have the effects of war on him, it's just like that sounds like that's a PR disaster waiting to happen.
I would say you're right. I would say I don't know how to do it.
I would say you're right. I would say I don't know how to do it properly, but I think that there are ways. We have children in horror movies, so there's got to be a way to psychologically protect children from some of the things that they see. Because there's kids in The Shining and things and Pet Cemetery and things like that, and somehow these kids
Yeah.
survive into adulthood without going insane. So there could be a way to make it happen, especially if we had, say, like 8-year-olds who
Yeah.
were just particularly small or something like that, and help them out and provided. The whole point was that Ender didn't know what was going on, so
Yeah.
he wasn't traumatized. He was simply exhausted.
Yeah, he wasn't traumatized until he
Yeah, it's
actually
also,
found out that what he had done.
It also depends on the author too, because the author never wanted the second one made into a movie because he realized that it would have been like a R-rated movie due to the fact of other things in the book, in the second book.
The second book, Speaker for the Dead, includes something that I think is really interesting, and that is a society that
Oh, that would
thrives on
definitely be
ritual
rated
killings.
R.
Yeah.
And the way that they do it is not in a way and the way that they do it is not in a way that makes it at all kid friendly. I would say that it ceases to be something you should read in high school or middle school, and starts to be a truly a young adult novel when you realize that the society that humans are interacting with, the thing that keeps them existing is these ritual killings that they perform in such a way where they have to slice the person open and then remove organs and plant them in certain ways so that they can move on to what's called the third life. And that I don't think is very child friendly. And that, but it's also important to realize that the characters in that book are 17, 18, 19, and Ender, who's 35. So
That's
and Ender, who is 35.
It's much harder to justify that being something that we would make into a book. And then Xenocide, same idea. As I'm reading it now, it would be very hard to do that because Ender is still on Lusitania. It would be very hard to do that because Ender is still on Lusitania, and at Lusitania they're still thriving next to the society, but he has also reawakened the Hive Queen of the Bugger. So now there's these three societies existing on this one planet. The government has and the government has decided that they no longer should exist, and so it's a lot more political than I think Ender's Game was, and I think that it would be a lot harder to translate into something that would be palatable for the average person. I don't think that this particular genre of science fiction is something that everyone would read.
Like
and
I said,
understand.
I think that like the Percy Jackson universe, I've said we obviously we know that that's getting a live action or.
And that lends itself to storytelling with live action and with movies.
And that's going to be getting shows and stuff like that.
Movies.
And then like I'll say this now, I would like to see another Spiderwick movie. Whether
better done.
Yeah.
Like
better done.
Series on it.
Yeah, that too. That would work
TV
fine.
Series on it.
I think the biggest problem with if they want to remake that as a series, it would basically be one season because even though so much happens in the first series, it's really a short series. It's shorter than pretty much.
Small books.
Yeah, they are very small books.
They're small books.
They're small books that takes place over
Spyware
the course
Chronicles?
of 2 years.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking about Percy Jackson's. Spider-Man Chronicles.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Percy
that's a
Jackson's.
few weeks. So
Spider-Man Chronicles is a few weeks.
like the
You could do like a mini series.
like at
You
most it
could
would
do, like,
basically
a
be
mini-series.
season 1 is Spiderwick Chronicles, and then season 2 is Beyond the Spiderwick Chronicles, and that's it. End of series.
Yeah, a short series. Like Disney could totally
Yeah,
do that.
a short series. Like Disney could totally do that. They've done short series before too, so
Yeah,
it should
I think that would be
they
the
can
most likely thing
easily
to have.
do that.
I don't even know what Holly Black is doing anymore because I think she's like done. She's no longer doing like kids books. I think she's doing more young adult books at this point.
Yeah. Wait, those are written by Holly Black?
Yeah, Holly Black and
wait,
what's his
those
name?
are written by Holly Black.
Huh.
The starting wig.
Yeah, Holly Black is the main person.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Holly Black is doing more adult.
Yeah,
stuff
Holly
and going
Black
away
is
from
doing
kids. I think
more
the last series
Adult
that
stuff
she
and going away from
wrote
kids. I think
for
the last
kids is
series that
called-
she wrote
Let me
for
get it.
kids is called.
I have the
Oh,
first two books. There's
let
5
me get it.
books.
I have the first 2 books. There's 5 books.
The first book's called The Iron Trial, and she wrote it with.
The first book's called The Iron Trial, and she wrote it with Cassandra Clare.
Yeah.
There's 5 books, and that's.
It's
like,
not bad.
This one's
There's 5 books, and that's like
child
this one's
written.
Yeah.
their child.
But yeah, she's
Written.
definitely going away from writing child.
But yeah,
books.
she's definitely going away from writing.
You know what I would
child
also
books.
really like to see at some point? I want to see Little House on the Prairie, like fully the entire series told through movies or books or not books, TV show.
You know there is a TV show, right?
Yeah, I know there's a TV show.
You know
It
there is a
only
TV
talks about
show,
like
right?
a very small amount of it, and most of that is none of what the actual book had. Like legitimately, there is so little from the TV show that that actually comes from the books. I think that they go over. Let me see if I remember this correctly. So they are pretty much. They do a little bit in Little House in the Big Woods, a decent amount with Little House on the Prairie, and then pretty much everything continues on still being somewhat Little House on the Prairie. They never they never enter into Farmer's Boy, and they never do anything else. They do a little bit of Little Town on the Prairie, but that's yeah. Like, yeah, her husband never. I think maybe at the very end of the series, he's maybe introduced, and then that's it. And most of it, like I said, is very different. And also, like, they made her. They had her sister go blind way sooner than she actually did. If it's all Little House on the Prairie. So, because I think her sister goes blind, I think on the banks of Plum Creek, maybe? Or maybe it was the next one. I don't know. Not the point. But you get my idea, what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So, basically what I'm saying, like, I love the series. I've watched the series significantly. But at the same time, like, it has nothing to do with the actual books. Like, legit, like, I think maybe, like, a little bit here and there, but it's so little. So, yeah, I would love to see them actually do the entire story from the very beginning all the way to the end. So, yeah. This has been a interesting, nerd chat.
Very fun nerd chat.
Yeah, we mostly talked about Disney.
Very
We
fun
actually
nerd
stayed
chat.
mostly on topic today. And then we just start...
I know, look at us go.
That's surprising.
I know, look at us go.
Maybe because we're all fired up and irritated with Disney and them and the remakes.
They tricked me.
I'm
Tricked
mad at
me,
Disney.
got me wishing on
They
a...
tricked me.
Okay, we're done. Anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. But anyways, we will see you guys next time. But on...